Well, this is kind of an interesting fact. It's exactly 1 year until Inauguration Day 2013. Think about that.
Wow.
Republicans are getting ready for the South Carolina primary tomorrow, and America's asking who would have guessed the presidential race would be where it is today, right? We're going to bring in Van Hipp, former South Carolina Republican Party chairman. He also worked on creating South Carolina's very first presidential primary back in 1980. Also joining us, DeRoy Murdoch, National Review online contributing editor. And nice to have you both as we have a lot of viewer questions. And Van, starting with you in South Carolina, South Carolina, since 1980 really has been key in predicting who the presidential nominee will be for the GOP and also determining where the South will go with their voters. Do you think that's the case for this particular primary, or do you think this one's going to be different?
South Carolina always gets it right, Jen. I believe we're going to get it right once again. And I think South Carolinians realize that this is the most important election of our lifetime. And I'm one who I think, like most South Carolinians, agree with Senator Jim DeMint that this country is on the path to socialism, and this is probably the last chance to turn this country around. So I think people are taking it very seriously. I think that helps explain why it is still so fluid in South Carolina, but we are headed for a photo finish tomorrow night.
A lot of confidence coming from Van, DeRoy. Do you agree, or do you think it's going to be a South Carolina surprise this time around?
Well, there may be a surprise. I think it is a very, very crucial election, no question. I agree with Van that we're heading towards, we're on the road to serfdom, and it'd be good to get off the road to serfdom, and South Carolina may lead the way. One of the interesting things about South Carolina is, unlike Iowa, which really is dominated by social conservatives, and I think New Hampshire more by economic conservatives, you've got the variety of social conservatives, economic conservatives, and also national security conservatives in South Carolina with a lot of active military and lots of military veterans. So I think you get a real good cross-section of the entire Republican Party, and maybe something that's a little bit more representative of the entire GOP coast to coast than you might find in New Hampshire or in Iowa.
Van, it's interesting that DeRoy just mentioned military veterans. We have a question from one of our viewers, Kylie, that wants to know the factor of Perry in this race. Obviously, since Perry served in the military, he just got out yesterday. What really do you think the impact of that is going to be for the remaining candidates?
I think that has actually helped Newt Gingrich a good bit, and I'll give you an example. One of the most popular and respected military veterans in South Carolina, retired Major General Jim Livingston, Marine veteran who won the Congressional Medal of Honor, will actually appear with Newt Gingrich at a rally tonight, I believe on the Yorktown, with another Medal of Honor. These were people who had supported Rick Perry, so there's no question what Rick Perry has done has helped further help Gingrich's surge in South Carolina.
It'll be interesting to see what exactly that impact will look like when we do have the results from the polls. DeRoy, what about this factor? Rob Kelly, and we're getting a lot of questions also from Carol on this. A lot of our viewers are asking about Mitt Romney. And you mentioned, DeRoy, the road to serfdom and the economic side of really this conversation we're having with the candidates. They want to know just why Mitt Romney's waiting to release his tax returns and whether or not that's going to be a factor in South Carolina.
I think it's a factor for a couple of reasons. One is people are curious to know what's in his records, but more importantly is that Mitt Romney, I think, has had a problem in that he seems to be on all sides of every issue. Now, he could say, look, I'll release my records today. I believe in transparency. People would respect that. Or he could say, look, it's nobody's business but mine. It's between me, God, and my accountant, and I'm going to keep them private. People might not like that, but I think they could respect that position. Instead, what he says is, I'm going to keep them private for about 60 days, and I'll release them after that, after lots of GOP primary voters already have voted. And so he falls between the cracks, getting neither respect for being transparent nor the respect of somebody who wants to maintain his privacy. And I think that's really what has people steamed. And it's just another example of Willard Mitt Romney not being able to take a firm position and stick with it.
It'll be interesting to see what happens tomorrow. Thank you, Van and DeRoy. Nice to have you both, and we look forward to having you back.
Great to be with you.
Thank you very much.